Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. What a week it has been. I can't believe it was just 7 nights ago we were all up in Preston. It has absolutely been a blur the last 7 or 8 days. How are you all feeling? Finally, we did it. We got up out of the Championship. We've won the league. We did everything right. We blew it up a little bit on Saturday against Blackburn, but it didn't matter, did it? Party time for the last 7 or 8 sleeps. How exhausted are you? What's your feelings? What are you looking forward to already? Do you want to talk about Jamie Vardy? It's your show, as ever, on the Monday Night Fanzone. We talk about everything that you guys want to talk about. So put in the views, put in the comments, and let me know what it is you want to talk about in the next 30 minutes.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, and the Foxes, Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, what a week it has been. The highlight for me was probably Preston. What a night that was. Many of us who were there won't ever forget that. But we want your views, your comments. Don't forget you can follow us at Leicester Fan TV on all socials where you are. But most importantly tonight, as ever, we want your comments. Get them in now live. I've put a link out there if anybody wants to click on it and come on and be brave and tell us via video link what they thought about it. But most importantly, get your comments in live as ever. We can get them in there. Bradley, good evening, watching on YouTube. Hope you're well. Hope you've enjoyed the week. Carlos says, still buzzing. Atmosphere amazing on Saturday. Shame about the result, but who cares? I think we did it last time, didn't we? When we got promoted in 2013-14. We did it all, and then we lost. It was 4-1 at home to, I always get this wrong. I think it was Brighton, wasn't it? But we did it again. We'll look back. To be fair, I feel slightly sorry for Birmingham fans, because if we'd have done what we should have done, Birmingham would have stayed up and Blackburn would have gone down. I was quite pleased for Blackburn they didn't happen, but I do feel a bit of, I play football on a Wednesday night with a lad who's a Birmingham fan, and I'm almost dreading seeing him because I feel a bit guilty that we didn't do a bit more for them. But anyway, as long as we went up, that's the main thing. Richie, good evening, says, glad that Leicester City are back in the Premier League. Richie, me too. I've not really enjoyed the Championship at all. I know many fans have loved it. I've seen too much Championship. I would just want to see some Premier League again. What a day, says Gareth. What a day yesterday. Still trying to recover from it. I know we've had, listen, Preston away. I think I am genuinely still tired from Preston last Monday. And then we've had all the festivities since then. Bubba, watching out in the States, says, the last 10 days make all that tension worth it. Job done. Back where we belong. Look, listen, Bubba and anybody else watching this, did you quite enjoy the fact that we nearly effed it all up? And then, so therefore, the last three weeks or so have been that roller coaster where it's ended up fine. But are you quite glad in the way we didn't cruise to the title, like with 4 or 5 games to go, break records? Because there'll be some fans out there. I know there'll be some fans who say, yeah, I've enjoyed the fact that it's like this. Patrick, good evening, says, club let 75% ground down on Saturday with parade, more bothered about filling the pitch with hangers on than doing the lap around the ground. Patrick, listen. I know Patrick sits in P block where I sit. I'm pretty sure that, Patrick, you do. It was a bit chaotic on Saturday after the cup lift. I don't know. We walked out the stadium going, well, they perhaps could have done a bit of a better lap, a bit better. But again, we're nitpicking there. I don't want to be a grumbler after all that. Bradley says, I think we missed Kiernan Dewsbury Hall on Saturday. He was in a boot, Dewsbury Hall. Let's hope that wasn't all part of the are we selling him or not. Tim was on the beach, 100 points would have been nice. But it doesn't get you anything. years to go forward, David. The 100 points doesn't really matter, does it? Dave Platt says here, not Vestergaard, he was too slow for the Premier last time, and he's not got any faster and was really found out against Blackburn. Like their striker. We need a striker, don't we? We'll talk about Jamie Vardy. We can probably talk about Patson Daka. I'm sure Kelechi and Nacho's off. He had some strange stuff on his shirt. I'm not sure what you read into that. Nacho, perhaps we'll talk about that in a bit. But Blackburn's number 8. Sign him up. Take a gamble. I'm sure there'll be plenty of teams having a look. We've just seen him absolutely on Saturday. That was there's a few players. We will do some shows over the next few weeks about who you would sign and all that. But I think tonight's more about celebrating. Tribe and Onion says rock, paper, scissors. Know what you're on about there. Jamie Vardy's children getting a lot of social media exposure this weekend. Wish I'd stayed in the pub. Blackburn game a damp squib. It was brewing to be one of those, wasn't it? Patrick saying, stuff Birmingham got what they deserved by sacking the manager when they were 6th. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. They were 6th, and then they brought Rooney in. They made some bad decisions, didn't they? Richie says, rumours about Callum O'Hare coming to Leicester City in the summer. I'd be more than happy with that, Richie. I think he's a more than decent player. Listen, don't forget, I'm going to put it in there again. If anybody wants to click on this link, be brave, come and give us your views. There it is. It's there. It doesn't matter where you're watching from, where you are in the world. You can come on and give us your views and give us your comments on what has been a tremendous week for Leicester, because we want as many fans as possible to go in there. Carlos says his neighbour's a Leeds fan. Really feel for him. I'm sure you don't, Carlos. Maybe, I don't know. It felt a bit like a lot of anti-Leeds City on Saturday. I suppose we gave it to Spurs a few years ago, but it's Leeds' term at the moment. Ian says, are you looking forward to VAR in the Premier League? No, Ian. That's probably about the only thing I've really enjoyed is you score a goal in the Championship. It's a goal. I believe, are they bringing VAR into the Championship next season? Am I making that up? Anyway, somebody who has clicked on the link is Locks. So good evening to you, Locks. Don't forget, anybody who's watching can click on that link, and I'm going to share it one more time in there. Locks, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's the end of the season, a bit of a celebration. It's weird. Obviously, we haven't been playing 90 minutes every week, but it's kind of like a relief. You kind of need a break from it. Do you get what I mean? It's like, people will say it's only football, it's only a game. More the other halves in our lives say that usually, but mentally, you know what I mean? Like mentally, you're always thinking about Leicester. You're always thinking about, have we got any injuries this week, or are we gonna throw away the game this week? Are we still gonna be top this week? It's just nice to, and it was the same last year in terms of relegation. It's just nice to, just to take a break now for a couple of months.
Locks, I don't know about you or anybody else watching this, but my better half, my other half, she is about sick to death of football this season. She says, are you going football again? How many games is there? And I went, yeah, there's a lot in the Championship. And she's like, and we got to that point, Locks, where I was like, you knew what it was like when we met 25 years ago, so nothing's going to change.
Yeah, and it's the Euros as well. It's the Euros as well.
I did drop that one in at the end when I said you can have at least 3 or 4 weeks off before we start switching to England chat. She was like,
well, my other half's okay because I'm a Wales fan, so we're not there anyway. So
you've got the whole summer off, Locks. Listen, let's get some comments in there. Terry's saying high score in the Championship, talking about Blackburn's number 8. Can you say his name, Locks? Help me out. It's like
Sammy
Smodics. Thank you.
Smodics.
Should we sign him?
I don't think you pronounced the Z. Should we sign him? I'm seeing a lot of talk of it, but I don't think so. No, he's 29, 28. Weirdly, that's
Jamie Vardy's 38. He's got another 8 or 9 years left in him.
Yeah, but we signed him when he was 26, So I don't think we should sign him. I think weirdly he's never got close to those numbers in other seasons. Actually, he was always a good player, but he just kind of, with the numbers he's hit, it just come out of nowhere. And he's a number 10 as well, mate. He's not even an out and out striker. So without him, they would have been relegated. So yeah, fair play to him. But I don't think we should sign him. I don't think it's the profile of player we should be looking at now, to be honest.
I thought he looked more than decent. Bubba says, Locks, I definitely need the emotional break, and it's great that it's the summer. I asked the question, Locks, now we've done it, are you quite glad we did the roller coaster at the end? Or
no.
would you have just
no.
no?
No. No, definitely not. No, they had us worried, didn't they? They had us. They made us worry a little bit there.
Plymouth
Yeah,
away, I was
Millwall,
like,
Plymouth, Millwall.
we've done it.
But even earlier than that, when you lose, when you lose back to back against Middlesbrough and Leeds again, obviously we did it twice. And I think we dropped points to QPR and all sorts. It was, they had us sweating a little bit, but that's just how Leicester is, isn't it? That's what they do to us. It's never easy, mate. What I'm saying about a mental break now for the next few months. If we were a Crystal Palace of the Premier League, you wouldn't need a mental break. It's always a mental break. It's always a little. I see Just Joe in the chat, the Leeds fan, calling us cheats, mate. Yeah. Well, guess what?
Leeds. What did they get promoted?
No. Hey, he's written it 3 times for being third in the league. There you go, Joe. Enjoy the playoffs.
They still managed to finish third. That was good. Well done, Leeds.
That was good. Yeah, because they are 24th in the form table, mate. Yeah, they're 24th. That's very bad. But yeah, it's all love, by the way. Joe doesn't mean it, guys.
I know.
But yeah, it's Leeds faltered, Leicester faltered, Ipswich faltered. We all faltered at some points, but we got back to winning ways. I think who did I hear talking? I think it might have been Mark Albrighton on the weekend saying about how at one stage the players did think to themselves, oh, we're going to end up in the playoffs here if we're not careful, and that's probably a part of the reason, and along with the Vardy meeting that he called, it clearly helped. So
yeah, it did indeed. I'm putting that link out there again. If anybody else like Lux wants to come on and give us their views, please do in there. Nick says that lull was just to keep the delusional Leeds fans on their toes. Best team in the league. In there, David saying Patrick Hook, totally agree, Paddy, very disappointing. A few people, I know MDA Events has put it up in here. I've seen a few people say this about the parade was badly organised and chaotic, and things not running on time. So if you did have a bad experience at the parade, I think generally everybody had a great party, but I know that a lot of people said it felt chaotic. Jamie Vardy, of course, filmed in strange question for somebody from the club to ask Jamie Vardy, perhaps in front of everybody there, Locks. I don't know. But again, I always look at these things from a marketing and PR point of view. I'm not quite sure why the guy from Leicester City, is his name Brad, the stadium announcer, asked Jamie Vardy, what's going on with your contract? I don't really, and Jamie Vardy obviously said, go and ask Rudkin.
It's awkward. It was very, it was very awkward, mate. It looks like there's a problem on YouTube, by the way, Reedy said. But yeah, it was awkward, mate. I don't think it was a stadium announcer's fault. He asked a question, it's clearly a question that a lot of Leicester fans want to know the answer to. I think Vardy was clearly out of it. He was extremely intoxicated, it seemed, and that's how it seemed to me anyway. And, it's hard to tell when Vardy's being serious. Obviously, he said what appeared to be a dig towards John Rudkin, and, someone in the chat who might have links to the club behind closed doors might know more than me when I say this. I always got the impression that the players actually didn't have any problems with John Rudkin, and that people actually at the club were okay with him, but I could be wrong. But it's been taken one way on social media. It's been taken in the way that a lot of Leicester fans think it was a dig, and it was, Vardy basically saying, "Well, guys, if you don't see me here next season, it's on that man." I don't think it was a professional thing to do, but he was drunk and he was asked a question, and it is what it is. It's why we love Vardy. It's not just because of the goals he scores, but his personality off the pitch. It's quality. So,
Locks and everybody else who's watching this, and this is a serious question, because before we get on to programs that we'll do, streams over the next few weeks and months, saying who should we sign? Should it be O'Hare? Should it be blah blah blah? Che Adams, Armstrong? Who should we dip back into the Championship for? We've got to sort out the players who are sort of still connected to the club in one shape or form, which is Jamie Vardy, Wilfred Ndidi, Vestergaard. There's a few in there, and I'm not going to talk about them all today, but Jamie Vardy, because it was topical with the parade yesterday, would you, Locks, and everybody else watching this, I want to know, would you take Jamie Vardy for another season? Locks, that's question one. But the second part of that question, which is, because I think most fans will say yes, but I think the real bit is, yes, I'd have Jamie Vardy, but they've got to balance what would be his costs for doing it, his wages. That would be my take on it, Locks. There is a number, which is if you can pay Vardy X amount a week, he's worth one more year, probably on the bench.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I would have him, money aside for a second, I would take him next season because I still think, even at his age, he is a better number 9 than Patson Daka.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Patson Daka will probably be moved on this summer. And, you know, if Vardy wasn't to join, if Vardy wasn't to sign for another year, we might need to keep Daka, you know, because you can't just run out of number 9s. Obviously, Iheanacho's gone, which we'll get on to. So, I think we need to keep Vardy. Obviously, he has to take a pay cut. He has to. And this is why I was a bit like, with the whole Rudkin thing, because I don't think it's fair to... I have my own opinions on Rudkin, as everyone else does. I want him gone. However, what I will say is I think it's a bit unfair for Vardy to put that on Rudkin if Vardy is still asking for over 100 grand a week, because you're not going to get it, mate. You don't, yeah, you deserve it if we're going, on what you've done for us over the years and the love we have for him. But he is not a 100 grand a week striker anymore. That's just a fact. And, we've heard it through Enzo all season, mate. He can no longer play 90 minutes back to back. And in fact, after he plays a match, he then doesn't train for a few days. He doesn't train anymore after a game. So he has to just be there for backup. And you can't pay 100 grand a week for someone who has back. I would say half in his wages is fair. He's on 120 to 140, something like that. If you half it, still quite a lot of money, but one more year, that's it, I think. And then we know, hopefully there can be like an announcement halfway through the season, someone saying, I am leaving at the end of this year. And then we can celebrate again, because we celebrated him against Blackburn. Even though it's probably not his last game, we can celebrate him all over again next season.
So Locks has put a figure on him there. He said if he's on about 120 to 140, I'm the rumours I hear and what it says in the accounts, it looks like he's on near 140. Locks is talking about halving his wages. I personally think so. I want to know, everybody watching this, just jam in the comments now. What figure would you think is fair to pay Jamie Vardy to keep him for one more year? And I mean fair to the club, fair to Jamie Vardy. What is a number that you think? Locks is going around 60 to 70 grand a week. Personally, I still think that's a tremendous amount of player.
It is
to pay. I feel Jamie Vardy has earned a tremendous amount of money on this last contract, 120 grand a week for the past 3-4 years, whatever. He is the greatest of all time for Leicester City, but we are also in a bit of a financial pickle. And I think if we were to say, look, Vards, have one more season at the top level in the Premier League, for me, I think I'd be saying, look, we're going to put you on 40. I mean, that's still, again, what these people have to remember is most people don't earn that in a year. So to ask a player to take 40 for when he's really is going to be a semi-bit part player, and maybe talk to him about the next steps. Is he going to do a bit of coaching? I'm not sure if Vardy really ever strikes me as being a coach. I think I don't quite see that. So, Locks, that's where I'd be at, more like 40 grand.
I get it, mate. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I think, and if all else fails, if he's not happy with that, maybe he does go to the MLS for a couple of years. But again, that's where I'm saying, is it fair on, although John Rudkin shouldn't be at the club anymore, is it fair for him to even make a comment like that? John Rudkin is the man, dealing with my contract. And if Vardy's going to say no to anything less than whatever, 100 grand, that's not really Rudkin's fault, So, it's a tough one. I think if it's a year, maybe you just take a hit and say, maybe not the 140, but 100 grand a week, whatever. It's one more year, you deserve it, everything you've done for us. But for me personally, I'm quite surprised anyway that he's going to stay, because I think if putting your mind inside of a footballer, which is a hard thing to do, because, we all dreamt of being there, but we never did. A part of you almost wanted Vardy to finish this season and leave. Do you get what I'm saying, Phil? On this
Well,
high?
it was a real high on Saturday. The fact that he's done the full cycle with Leicester, he's obviously took us up the first time, done everything. Then it all went wrong, and then he's put us back there. So for me, I do hear what you're saying, Locks. I think it could be the end of his Leicester chapter, and I'm going to move that on slightly, Locks, in the fact that I do watch Welcome to Wrexham, and I've seen rumours about Wrexham. He would be box office for a Hollywood program that is a global TV show. They obviously have Paul Mullins there, who's been playing, but they've got promoted again. Jamie Vardy, a bit like Ben Foster went there. Jamie Vardy to Wrexham would be all sorts of PR and press, would it not?
Yeah, it would. Of course, it would. But I mean, I can't see that ever happening. I saw people saying we won't rule out Vardy to Wrexham. Like, don't think it's for you to rule out. I think it's to Jamie Vardy to rule out, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He really, if they were to offer him something, because they've got money there, but they're trying to build it the right way, and they obviously have to consider financial fair play and all that. But I don't know, for somebody like Jamie Vardy, it could be something that was appealing for him. I'm not sure it'd be the right thing for him because it'd be a bit too much under the spotlight. But he is camera. He's good TV, isn't he?
He is, but I think Becky Vardy would be slightly annoyed if Jamie Vardy leaves Leicester and the club he ends up at is Wrexham. I think if he leaves Leicester, I think she'll be expecting first class tickets to LA or Miami, mate. If I'm honest with you.
But that's it. You're mixing with
maybe Miami with Messi. Maybe he goes to Miami and plays with Messi, mate. Who knows? But I can't see him at Wrexham. I think it will be Leicester. Or if it's not Leicester, it will be either retirement or one of these retirement leagues, if you get what I'm saying, over. And I don't think he'd go Saudi. He wouldn't go Saudi, but MLS maybe, something like that. So
Sheffield Wednesday.
Could do potentially, mate. Potentially. Yeah, potentially. It's not a bad shout, that. It's not a bad shout. Yeah.
This is boyhood club. He clearly... I believe clearly you can see when we went to Sheffield Wednesday away this season, I think you can see that he's definitely, I think the Sheffield Wednesday fans, they seem to like him, obviously, and feel like he is one of their own. And again, if he's got nothing left to prove in football, that's why I think if he does do it with Leicester one more season, I hear what you're saying about is maybe he shouldn't, because maybe it doesn't work in the Premier League one more season. Maybe he should be a Wrexham or a Sheffield Wednesday. I want him to stay. I think he's got a bit left to give us in the Premier League from the bench. But we do need a striker. I don't think Jamie Vardy is our striker in the Premier League next season, Locks.
Oh, he can't be the main guy. Yeah, he can't. I mean, I know he's come up trumps this season towards the end with the goals that he's got, but we all know next season is going to be a hard year. It is. We're saying about how we had the stress of relegation last year, and the stress of a promotion fight this year. Next season, I can assure everyone in this chat right now, it is going to be tough, and it will be a relegation fight next year. It will be, because we are going to be hit with a deduction. We're not going to be fighting for the top half, I don't think. So it's going to be tough next year. And yeah, Vardy, it's probably useful to have him around for a goal if we need it, if he's in the matchday squad. But I think it all comes down to the money that he wants. And if he loves Leicester that much, I'm not doubting his love for Leicester. I know he loves Leicester, but if he loves Leicester that much, I'm sure he wouldn't mind cutting his wages in half to stay for another year. One last year.
Richie says here, give Albrighton a new contract. And I do want to talk about Mark Albrighton now with you, Locks, because there's a few players on Saturday who I was looking at them going around the pitch at the end, and I'm going, that could be the last time we see you in a Leicester shirt, which was like Kelechi Iheanacho, and he did have something on one of his undershirts, which I can't remember exactly what it was worded, Locks. I don't know if you can, but it was a bit strange how he said it. It was a bit like "you'll miss me when I'm gone" type of thing. Yeah,
he said we've got history. You'll miss me. When I'm gone, you'll miss me. That's what it says.
Yes, which I thought was a bit strange. But I want to move it on to Mark Albrighton, Locks, in the fact that I don't think, Richie, he should have a new contract. I think his time at Leicester is done. But I just want to put it out there, Locks. Again, we'll do all these sorts of shows over the summer when there's no actual football to talk about. Mark Albrighton does make my all-time favourite players 11. I'm not saying best ever 11, but for Leicester City, he's up there for me with Steve Whitworth, Steve Walsh, Dennis Rofe, Keith Weller, Riyad Mahrez, Jamie Vardy, Mark Albrighton is in there as one of Mark Wallington in goal. These are my favourite people who put a shirt on. So I can't speak highly enough of him. And I think he came on Saturday and put within the first 5 minutes 3 or 4 balls right in the danger zone. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, we should have had this all season. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
Because others will go, that's not the Enzo way. But I was like, he's putting it in.
No, it kind of felt to me like he was doing that on you know what I mean? Like it felt like he was doing it because it's typical Mark. I think the thing is, mate,
he's just
a
great pro.
Yeah, and from everything I've heard, and everything that you see out there, he just seems like a really good guy, man. And fair play. No way we should be offering him a contract. No way, not at his age. And I say ability. He can do a job for teams in the Championship, that's for sure. He might end up there. He might retire. Who knows? He's been doing a lot of media work recently, as we know, on TalkSport and Sky. I'm not sure on his coaching badges if he's done any of that, but I think he is one that most likely could end up working at Leicester City in the future. So, in some capacity. So yeah, and hopefully we can get him on Leicester Fan TV sometime in the future as well. Hopefully, and have a chat with him. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd love to. Tony says here, Albrighton wants and deserves to play. He goes with best wishes as an all-time favourite of mine. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Tony. And I actually think that he should go. I think he could slot in very nicely in the Championship for another season or two and maybe get another team promoted, play a little bit more.
Sorry, mate. I was just going to say, imagine a Championship team pick them both up together as a package, Albrighton and Vardy. Can you imagine that? Guaranteed
well, it
goals.
wouldn't be the worst thing because if you play them the way they should be played, they will get you more goals. Albrighton into Vardy again on Saturday. It was like Mark Albrighton came on and was like, "Here's my highlights reel in 7 minutes of football." When he got the ball up and down the wing, pushed it in, and as soon as he did it, we all turned around and went, "That what a ball!"
Yeah. We've definitely needed that at times, haven't we? But. Yeah, look, he was a quality player for us in the 15-16 season. Since then, I suppose you could say he's been hit and miss, a bit part player. I think I
think he was a big part of the team all the way up to like the last 2 years, really.
I don't no. The reason I say it is because I think every manager that's come in has tried to replace him.
Yes.
He's one of them, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mean, we tried to. Damari Gray came in during that 15-16 season. I think it was a Ranieri signing, and I think a couple managers did try and put Damari or use Damari Gray as the future on of Leicester City out wide. He's got the most stinky attitude that I've ever seen a footballer have. That's why he didn't succeed, and that's why he's now in Saudi Arabia. So. Yeah, it's a shame. This is what happens to these types of players, mate. I know you're a love of the old, I'll call it Brexit ball. I don't exactly mean Brexit ball, but you know what I mean. The 4-4-2. You love a 4-4-2, lump it up, crosses into the box, all of that. You do love that, Phil. Come on, mate. You do, Phil. Come on.
I love goals. Goal man action, scrambles. Listen, I was on the When You're Smiling podcast with Owen last week, and I said to Owen, the future maybe is, I saw the future in the Premier League, which is when we played Southampton and they had most of the ball. They had 65-70% possession. We had 30%. And Enzo ball seemed to work really well, I was saying to Owen. I loved that. I think that's how we're going to play. And Owen turned around to me and he said, yeah, Enzo hated that game. Thought we didn't have enough possession. Thought we were bad against Southampton. I was like, we just won 5-0. That was the best game of the season. So...
Yeah, he doesn't like chaos. He wants complete control over a game. Some would say we did have complete control in that game, but if you look at the stats, we didn't in terms of possession. And look, this is what we said all year round, mate. Really, it's like when people were complaining about tippy-tappy football and all of that, it's kind of all you could really say is, well, unfortunately, we're stuck with it. As long as Enzo's at the club, that is going to be how we play. That is going to be the philosophy. That is going to be what he wants the team to do. And I think this is the big worry about the Premier League next season, because yes, I disagree with the people that say this style will not work in the Premier League. I disagree with that. I think it's this better. Style. Well, yes, but more importantly, this style with these players will not be a good combination in the Premier League. I don't think.
Half 5, 6, 7 of these players are gone because the contract's out. Somebody, by the way, has put in here that Kelechi Iheanacho turned down a contract, which I'd be amazed.
65k a week, someone said.
Well, yeah, somebody says that. I do think. I said it last year, and I don't think we ever got an answer from the. I think the Premier League relegation season was chaotic behind the scenes. We've talked about that many times. All sorts of stupidity you look back on. They did an investigation into it, and it never really came out what on earth happened. It's like they're investigating themselves, and nothing happens. This season, there's definitely been errors and issues. Even Enzo's come out and said, who's running. I mean, he's been via other media outlets. He's been saying exactly. He's been saying who's managing and the finances, and we didn't sign the player in January, and he wasn't aware of everything that was going on. So I do slightly worry if we have offered Kelechi Iheanacho 65 grand a week to stay at the club for somebody who just doesn't play locks. I'm
not surprised.
I am, because that's just like.
I'm not surprised because there's been no change. The club is still run by idiots. I'm sorry to say it, right? I said it yesterday on the Aftermath show. I'm not calling Top an idiot, but at some point, if Top doesn't change things, the people around him, then he is an idiot. I'm sorry. If he doesn't do, if things continue to be run the way they have been, and he doesn't change it, then he is to blame. He is the buck stops with him. And I knew from halfway through the season that nothing had changed, Phil, because it actually got reported that Harry Winks is on 90 grand a week and Connor Cody's on 75 grand a week. Now, Harry Winks especially, has been a massive player for us. But if you think a championship club should be paying somebody 90 grand a week, you're wrong. So as people were saying in the chat, it's Rodkin, Whelan, not Con, Top. Who employs them? Who employs them? It is one man, it's Top. So if Top doesn't make the changes to the structure that are needed, the buck has to fall with him, right? The buck has to stop with him. And eventually, you have to start putting fingers at Top. So he's had, a year since relegation to make changes. Maybe he wanted to try and keep it smooth for now and he'll make the change this summer. I don't know. But it appears that Rodkin is very comfortable and very secure in his job, and he's not going anywhere. And the one man with power to get rid of Rodkin is the owner, Top. I'm sorry.
I think there is a lot to debate, because obviously there's no close season here at Leicester Fan TV. We carry on, so I'll be here next Monday. And there'll be more and more to pick the bones out of this. Tonight's about celebrating. It's been a great week. And I'm going to end with this comment, because I think this shows football in a good light. We've had quite a lot of banter with Leeds fans. And Callum, thanks for the £2. I'm going to chuck that £2 into the Vichai fund next time I'm at the ground. But he says, as a Leeds fan, congratulations and good luck in the Premier League, which I think after all the banter locks, that's nice to see football. We can all have a laugh and we can all have a dig at each other and actually say well done. So, Locks, now say good luck to Leeds in the playoffs.
Good luck to Leeds. Yeah, it would be nice for them to get promoted, Phil, because we can finish above them in this. We can finish above them again for the 13th consecutive season. Not like I'm counting. Wow. So
not like you're counting.
Good luck, mate. Good luck.
Well, thank you for that, Callum, and thank you for everything in there. Chris, listen, that we will talk about. I've got to renew my season tickets. I'm going to get on with it this week. There is all that, and it is amateurish, and there is many of things. And I do think if we're not careful, we had a really bad season last year. This year's been good. We're back to where we belong. I do caveat it slightly with the fact that we have, I believe, had the most expensive team ever to play in the Championship, the most best ever paid. So we really should have done it, but I am glad we did get there in the end. It's been one hell of a season. I'll be back here next Monday, so we've still got loads and loads to talk about. Thanks a lot for Locks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thanks for having me, mate. I'll be back on Thursday at about 6:30. So come and join, and we can
start looking forward.
We've had our celebration. We'll start. Yeah. We've had a celebration. We'll start looking forward and talking about all sorts, transfers and potential transfers and potential points deductions. Maybe, I don't know, anything.
I still can't get over offering 65 grand to Nacho. It's like, really? But anyway,
yeah, we haven't learned a lesson. We haven't.
I hope we have. I really hope we have, Locks. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you all. Locks is shows on 6:30 on Thursday. Jamie from the Fox's Arms is here on Sundays at 9:30, and I'm back here next Monday at 7:30. Thanks all. See you next time. We did it. We got there.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everards, Barlow Blinds, Pukka Pies, Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hollogram, Take Me, Newby Co, The Fox's Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit leicesterfantv.com for all the latest news, views and videos.
Reedy, it's competition time. We've teamed up with the guys at distillersdirect.com and we've got some fantastic prizes for you to win. Reedy, what have we got?
You've got this to win.
Wow, that, £50 to spend at the club shop, and what else?
And that.
A bottle of that? Well, you can get that thanks to the guys at distillersdirect.com. Reedy, what would you spend 50 quid down at the club shop on?
Well, maybe one of these shirts.
One of these? Okay, Reedy. Now we've changed. That shows you can buy a retro shirt, you can buy this year's shirt, they're on special offer I think, or you can even save it and buy next year's shirt, or something like this from the Art of Football. Whatever it is you want to spend 50 quid down at the club shop, thanks to the guys at distillersdirect.com. Now you enter on the website, so click on the link and answer the simple question, and the simple question is, what player's name is on the back of this shirt? Me and Reedy can see it. I'll tell you what, probably give you a clue. Greatest of all time? Who would that be? Here you go. Enter now, and thanks again to Distillers Direct. Don't forget, use the promo code and save 10% off. That promo code, Reedy.
Yes, that one right there.